Let's go.
Right. Okay, so let's try out module 5 just with the core and module 0 and we see if we can play module 5. Module 5 adds companies and a stock market board to the game. And there's one thing that you can only do through companies. That's Finio. So Finio, you do not pay Finio anymore just to the pool. There has to be a company, which is a Finio company. So the things that are added, there is a stock market. There are company chits, which are these. They are black and white companies. Just flipping over. There's this new board that's added. Kind of gives you the new things that you can do, which I'll explain right now, transactions or shortly. Gives you the post-monetization rules, which we're not going to reach because we're only playing the core and module 0 together with 5. There's the ISO bank, which we're also not going to use because that's also with post-monetization. But here you have the customer services, which kind of list everything that the companies will do, what you can do with the companies, and I can explain, and I'll explain through that. Then you also have these chits, which are MOFs, which is another thing that's added with Module 5 and litigation. So basically, Module 5 adds a stock market, which has two sides, Aqua, and then it flips to Isotope, but we won't be seeing this side. It adds that, it adds companies, it adds MALFs, it adds litigation, the ISO market, yeah, and that's it.
Okay.
And on your turn now, you have three things that you can do. You can do a movement, right? You can move your crafts like normal, and you have operations like normal, right? And you have an extra action now, which is called transactions. So on your turn, you can do one transaction, and transaction is you're going to do something with the market or with the companies, and it's listed here. So you can do one transaction per turn. You can buy a share. You can splinter a company. You can proxy fight. You can do customer service, and that's it. Then every year that there is a event, after the event, we do a board meeting. And during a board meeting, the owner of the company, the chair owner, the chair of the company can do also a couple of things. They can issue dividends, or they can reinvest the company, or they can do nothing. And as a free action, you can always dump a share. So let's quickly just, the quick mechanic about it. It's your turn. You want to buy a share. How do you buy a share? So companies start in these areas that are marked here on the board. There are four companies, or four company shapes, right? There's the triangle, which is the boost company. It's written down there. There's the square, which is the pattern company. Circle, which is the Finio company. There's the loan company, the hexagon, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there's black-sided, but the black sides only come into effect with isotope monetization. So I won't go into that right now. They do other things. If you do a transaction and you buy a company, you gotta pay a certain price to buy a share. So shares start unfloated. There's nothing. Companies start unfloated. When you buy a share, you floating a company. You're putting it in the market, and the initial price is what's in here in this center spot. So let's say I buy I buy a share in the Boost company. I pay one aqua, which is that is over there. I float the company and I put a share in there. And in this module, you push the button on top there, buy share, and it puts a share on top there.
And it's
Okay?
it's a 3 share maximum here?
And it's 3 shares maximum in every company.
Okay.
All right? And if it comes around again and I buy another share in this company, I pay what I see in the window is 1. So I pay 1, I buy a share, and this pushes the company up. Okay? So that's buying a share. Dumping a share is selling the company. So you can dump a share anytime you want. And like if I sell this company, if I sell one of these shares, I have to do something like this. I sell the share, I get what's in the value there is 1, I get 1 aqua, and this goes down. Okay? And you can come along and you can buy a share as well. So if you click on buy share there on top, you will pay 1. Now just click buy share on that company. There. And this goes up.
And if I buy a share again, and if
So if you buy
if I sell a share now, it's 2 for me?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now this TTS module is a bit, it still needs to be worked. It's better. So if you buy a share, now you have 2 shares. In the actual game, your share is going to be on top there. So I'll have to take away my share from the top and put it there.
I got the majority of the company.
Yeah, yeah. And the chair of the company should always occupy that top space.
Okay.
The triangle, right? Like you'll see on all of them, there's always that top space. So we can easily see who the chairman is. So in this case, you are the chairman. Yeah. All right. So that's one transaction. But another important transaction is, for example, let's say Finio. Another important transaction is customer services. So buying a shares is understood. Again, if it's up there and someone buys a share, they have to pay what's in the window 2, right? So I have to pay 2 to buy a share.
Yeah, but if it's already, how you can buy a share if it's already full?
Well, it's not full. If it was full, then I couldn't buy a share.
Yeah, but how you can be at 2 if it's not
I'm
full?
just giving an example. Or it can happen that it somehow, I don't know, there are ways to push this company up, and they're all listed here.
Okay.
And I'll go through them. Just giving as an example. So let's say the Finio is there. One thing that you can do on your turn as a transaction, you can do customer service. And a customer service is just using the company, right? And the price to use the company, what you pay to use the company, is listed down here. So these numbers here are the customer prices. And to use Finio, I would have to pay 5 aqua to use that company. And of course, Finio means if I want to pay for Finio, I have to pay this company, Finio, and it's going to cost me 5.
So it's not 4 anymore, but it's 5 if it was here.
If it was there. But there are ways for the companies to move this way, it can go all the way down to 3 or even to 2. Right? So the companies are going to go up and they're going to move to the right eventually, right? So you can get cheaper services. Right? So that's another transaction. Those are the main transactions that you do: is buy a share, use the company service, or do dumping. Dumping is like just selling a share, let's say, but that's a free action. There's a couple of other ones which are splintering and proxy fight. Splintering is dividing the company into 2. So if I had 2 shares or something like that, or you had a second share there, splintering a company is making a new company appear from this one, splintering from this one. So I could create a splinter one. I would have to sell one of my shares there or discard one of my shares there. That would come to this company down here, and the splinter would always appear at the lower end.
And
splintering.
If you do the splintering from here, do you go down or you stay?
Yes. No, you go down.
Okay.
And proxy fight is a political kind of, you use the politics to try and get into the company. So So you need the module 0. Kind of says basically, if you want to try and buy my share there, like you want to take over, you want to take over my share, you then have to spend political capital to do it. And the cost is what you see in the window. So it will cost you one delegate. To take over my company.
So I remove your share and I take it, or I just remove the share?
Yes. You remove my share and you take it. So you have to discard one of your delegates.
Yeah.
And but your delegates have a power of 2 if on your color. So if you discard from individuality, it will be a value of 2 each. However, if I have a delegate in your area,
Yeah.
and I discard it, I can defend myself by discarding it from your area.
Yeah, so I
And
lose the
your proxy,
delegate and you discard yours, so you are immune.
yeah, and I won't, yeah, you won't do it. Then there's also litigation, which also you can use political stuff. So by litigation is basically a lobby action. You do a lobby action, and after the lobby action, you can do extra stuff with it as well. But I won't go into it right now. Just so no, it's there. Let me just stick to the company board. So that's understood. Then, so companies go up if you buy a share, they go up, right?
Yeah.
If someone uses this service, right?
Yeah.
If you use a service of one of these of my Finio there, it will go up.
Okay.
If the chairman gets glory or ticker tape, it goes up. So it's quite powerful. It's like speculation there. If the chair does a claim jump, it goes up. If you anchor a Bernal, so forget about BEO Bernal, it's just if you anchor a Bernal, any Bernal, it goes up.
You can go up
And
if it's already on top.
I'll get to there. And Finio company, any hazard roll. So if you don't pay the Finio company, imagine there is a Finio company, you don't pay the Finio company, and you roll a 1, right? So the company goes up.
Yeah.
Because you didn't use its services, and he says, like, you see,
It shows that you need to pay us because it's a really good
exactly.
utility.
Okay. So this area up here is called the bull area. Any company that's in this black area you cannot proxy fight a company in this. It's immune to proxy fights, as it's stated over there. So they kind of, it's immune.
It's immune
Once
to
you get up,
politic attack.
exactly.
Okay.
If it reaches its higher area and you want to push it up, it's what they say, it's pegged, right? It gets pegged here and it can't go further up. So if anything bumps, like a customer uses that company and bumps this company up, the chairman can take hedge funds, which are these things here. So these cubes, these are shares. We each start with 5 shares. Okay, you have 5 shares, but if you are liable, you can get 7 shares if you obtain hedge funds, right? So if this company bumps up, you can come and you can grab an extra share for you, or you can grab an extra cube, right?
But
So
where are they going?
your reserves, to your pool of reserves. So
Okay.
everyone starts with 7 cubes, but ultimately you could actually get 9 cubes.
So
And you start
7 cube as a factory or delegate.
exactly,
Okay.
factory or a delegate, or a loan, because the loans are going to use cubes. And shares, you start with 5, but you can have a maximum of 7. That's what happens if a company has to go up and it can't, or if a company is here and wants to go right and it can't. It will stay where it is, and the chairman can take a hedge fund, which are these 4 things there.
And
Okay.
Where are our shares? Where are our shares? I mean.
Yeah, they're not here. So we have to count them. In
Okay.
this TTS module, as you buy a share, so now I've got 3 shares there.
No,
You
because
just have to count.
you said we begin with 5, so it's
You
we
just have to remember that
yeah.
you have 5.
So I mean you can
Yeah,
have 3 on this one and 2 on the other one, and you're full
exactly. And you're
until you get
full.
hedge fund. Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They have to they have to sort that out in this module, so it's probably easier to understand that you start off with 5. There was another module that you had 5 pieces, 5 cubes, and you small little cubes, and you'd put them on top. Um, okay, so we have 5 shares. Just remember it. Available until you get your hedge fund. Then once you get a hedge fund, I don't know, maybe we put it aside, we put it down here as an indication. Okay, I've got 6 now. Okay,
Yeah.
then, and like I said, another thing that happens, another movement, the movement down, companies also go down. For each share that you sell, it goes down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if you get a default shit, it goes down. On budget cuts, every company goes down on budget cuts. That's really terrible. If you unanchor a Bernal, doesn't matter if it's BO, if you
Yeah.
unanchor a Bernal, it goes down. If there's a pad explosion, for each card lost in a pad explosion, the
Go down. Okay.
boost company goes down, unless someone pays for insurance. And then the loan company, which is this one here, if someone doesn't pay back the loans, then it goes down. I'll talk specific about each company, what they do towards the end. So up and down is easy. Now, what does right mean? What is that? Reinvest. So reinvest is an action that the chair can make during board meetings. You can pay dividends or you can reinvest. Board meetings are whenever there's an event, right, in the calendar, in the cycle. So we roll a die, we do the event, and then we do a quick board meeting. Board meetings, we go through every company, and the chairman does their decisions.
Yeah.
Reinvest is to move the company to the right and one space down. So you're kind of injecting more capital into it, and making it more efficient. Um, more human resources and stuff like that. And that pushes it, it makes it more cheaper as time goes by. So that's reinvest. Or you can pay out dividends, right?
Yeah.
The dividend levels are here in these blue areas. Those little dots that you see there is the value of dividends. So 2 circles means you'll pay 2 aqua per share. So this one, if I, as the chairman, if I say I'm going to pay out dividends for this one, I give 2, the yellow player gets 2 aqua and the company goes down,
Yeah.
right? If I had 2 shares, well, I'll get 4 aqua and the company goes down 1.
Yeah.
And that's the decision that you do, or you don't do anything.
And there is a possibility to go left, or no?
There's only possible in the left when in this ISO market. It has to do with the loan company. Otherwise, it doesn't go left.
So it just I mean it can go down, but it's still it's I mean it's going up anyway, because you
Yeah,
can
but
go
it,
down,
it
but
can.
you still go on the right, so you getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, yes, that's the tendency. It gets cheaper, but it can go down and it can go into insolvency, which is I didn't explain. So if you ever, where is, I need to get the default shit. There it is, because this game does come with a default shit. If you ever, if you ever, if your company ever passes this into this red area here, it's insolvent. Right?
Yeah.
So for insolvency, you have to dump your shares. So for the price that's there, you'll get the 3 aqua.
Yeah.
But the chair will get the default shit, minus 3 points.
So you get 3 aqua, but you get a minus 3 victory point.
Yeah, in this situation, right?
Yeah,
If it
yeah.
was if this one went down into insolvency, I would actually get 2 aqua, right?
And you get 1 sheet or 2 sheets because you get 2 shells.
I got 2 shares at 1, so I'll get 2 aqua in total,
Yeah, but
right? One for
how
each.
much default sheet you got? 1 or 2?
I will just 1 default shit, and I'll
And
get the default shit.
and if I got a share with you, we got you and me, we get a default sheet.
Only the chair gets the default shit.
Okay.
Okay, the default shit can pass through to players, of course, right? I mean, there are ways. So this is one way of getting the default shit.
But I mean, if you take you need to dump your share, but if and you take the default sheet, but if I get a share with you, I get to dump my
You
share,
you also have to dump your
but
share.
I don't
Yes.
take the default sheet. Okay.
No, only the chair gets the default.
And I get a question
Mm-hmm.
because there is a final company, patent company, boost company. So to boost, you pay
Yeah.
the
So
you pay the boosting cost or the mass.
no, no, no. Well, okay. We'll go. Let's go to the companies then. There is a boost company. You boost. You have the normal operation to boost.
Yeah.
It costs an operation as normal, and you pay as normal. What this company is doing is basically you'll be able to, I don't know, eventually you can do 2 boosts if you want. You can use an
I pay
operation.
the customer service and
You pay customer service, and that allows you to use the boost operation,
okay.
but of a maximum of 8 mass.
But should I? I mean, for example, the the boost here, for example, it's here. So
Yes.
the so to pay service, to use the service, I paid for aqua,
You pay for aqua, the
and
company goes up, and
okay,
you can boost up to 8 mass.
so I pay 8 more aqua to boost.
No, 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 no. You're using the company to
So
boost.
okay, so I
So
just
it'll be cheaper.
it's
It'll
gonna
be
be
cheaper.
cheaper than normal
Yes,
boost. Okay,
yes,
understood.
yes. And you can do that, so on your turn you can use the company and say you boost, right? And then you can do an operation and you boost again.
Yeah,
For example. That's what the boost company does. Um, the Square company is the patent company, right? You can pay the customer. You can pay the customer price there, 6,
yeah,
to inspire a deck. So after you pay it, you
yeah.
can inspire 1 deck, and then you can take the top patent card plus the supports. It's kind of like
Can you repeat?
it's like a research auction, right?
Yeah,
Basically, you pay 6 and you do a research auction. Oh,
but
well,
uh,
it's not
but
a
but
research auction. Sorry, it's
it's
just
an
you just
inspiration
take.
event, and I take the top card with support.
No, you don't do an inspiration event. You can inspire one of your decks, or you can cycle a deck. You can choose a deck and you say, look, you cycle it. It's like an insight. You take the top card out, you put under the deck, and then you can choose. And you can buy whatever you want.
So you
You
buy
don't
or
necessarily.
you take it for free?
Well, you
If
pay the company 6, right?
yeah,
Or
so
6 or 5 or
I mean,
whatever, or 4, right? And then you can take whatever you want. Like you take a card.
it's the same as an auction, but you pay. So it's not an auction, and you pay the price, and you take the
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
That's it.
understood.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what the pattern does. The circle is the Finio. If you want to pay Finio, there's no other way of paying Finio except there. So if there's no Finio company, there's no one can pay for Finio in the game. That's
So we need to float the final company fast.
the hexagon company is your loan company. So this one with the hexagon, you can take out loans, right?
Yeah.
To take out loans, you pay the company price, you pay 3, right? And then you are going to put up your cubes as collateral.
Yeah.
And for each cube, you will get 4 aqua.
For each cube, for aqua.
For each cube, 4 aqua. So then you can say, okay, I pay 3, and I put, I don't know, 3 cubes. I want 3. You can choose as many cubes as you want.
So it's
You can
12
put
aqua.
yeah, that's 12 aqua, and you put it 5 years in front of the first player, right?
But
So
are they accessible or inaccessible because it's a collateral?
they're inaccessible while they're here. They're loans. Right?
Okay.
Okay. At any time after your first year, you can always pay back your loan.
And
right?
you got 5
And
years to pay it.
you have 5 years to pay it, but you can pay it back before if you want.
Okay.
Right? By the time that it's kind of it uses kind of the same system as in module 4. That is when the first player passes,
Yeah.
passes that year, then you have to pay all 3 of these back.
And
right?
if you cannot?
If you cannot pay, you got to like dump everything you have, pay as much as you can, and then back. And let's say you could only pay back 2, and the one remaining is pushed back another 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you get the default sheet or no? Not for
And
this.
you get the default. You get the default shit. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And the company goes down because the repayment wasn't. It doesn't count as being repaid.
Ah, yeah, it's failure to repay loan. Okay.
And those are the 4 companies. There's one more thing, perhaps, is the malfs.
Yeah.
The malfs or malfunctions, right, are these chits here. So with module 5, you play with module 5, ballerinas to perform a pivot, right? Performing a flyby, performing rocket plane, or performing a buggy road prospection is a malfunction. They're hazards.
So you need to roll, and for one.
You need to roll for hazard. So you have to, if you go on a flyby, if you go through a flyby, you have to roll for hazard, or
You pay
you pay
fine.
finio. Exactly. If you pay finio, you will immediately
Take the cheat.
you will succeed and you will take this chit.
So if you are the first one to take this, you take it as a glory cheat or something like that.
Exactly. And then from then onwards, the flyby is no longer a hazard.
So when someone did it, it's not a hazard. We did a scientific research. We know how to manage it. It's all right. Okay.
Exactly.
And what is a
Exactly.
rocket plane liftoff? It's like acetylene liftoff.
Exactly, acetylene rocket plane liftoff. Yeah. So yeah, be careful with your solar cell in the beginning, and the pivot.
Without a
Because
final company.
you'll have to pay maybe 5 for the first pivot, maybe. It's not bad. It's 4 points.
I just got the question just to be clear. Normally we can do a move operation. I mean a move, an operation, and a transaction and free action in any. I mean.
In any order.
Order. It's the same with the transaction, or it need to be the last.
No, it's the same as a transaction.
Okay.
So sometimes you might you might want to do your transaction first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
Understood.
Then I don't know, litigations. Okay, like I said, litigations. There are a few interesting things here.
If there is active law, yeah.
I mean, one of them is there's the lawsuit. We can steal a card from a player. There's a duel, which you become the chair if you are tied for chair. So that means if we both have one chair each, you can by lobbying honor, you could become the chair. And there's like the move the default shit to another player, so I can pass it over to you or you to me. By the way, there's one interesting aspect, just so you know, becoming the chair. Let's say, let's say I am chair in this one. Do you mind clicking on buying a share on Finio? Okay. Let's say that one. It has to do with the glory. Let's say you got a glory. You got a glory, but because you're not chair in the Finio, this doesn't go up. Okay. But if you bring back a ticker tape, so if you bring the glory chip back to Leo, you have the ticker tape parade, you then become chair of this company. You can take over the company
Okay.
with the ticker tape
It's some
parade.
little details.
Little details.
Yeah.
If we are tied, yeah. Okay. And I mean that's the game. Really, it's
I mean,
not a lot that's
it's
added.
half of the game without monetization.
Yes, okay, half of the game without monetization, sure. But monetization works basically, it's just companies continue, but it's with isotopes.
Okay, next time.
Okay.
I got a little question before we
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
It's more competitive oriented,
Mm-hmm.
apparently. And can you talk about a bit about your solo scenario before?
Solo.
Yeah, because you got a scenario you made.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Just
sure,
just
sure.
5 minutes, if it's possible in 5 minutes, and after we can
Um,
begin.
it is. There are a couple of tables that are missing. Yeah, that are in the rule book that you need for the solo scenario,
Okay.
because of the dice roll. But basically, in the solo, you choose whether you choose a solo variant that you want to play, like altruism or a CEO or any other solo that you want to play, and you just add module 5. And with module 5, it's going to be a, uh, a non-playing character faction called Taurus, an AI called Taurus, and she's going to float companies, and she's going to float companies and have companies, and her objectives is mainly to try and get hedge funds.
Okay.
So it kind of starts off by you have your normal setup, and Taurus is, and actually we're it's interesting, we're starting exactly as it is. Taurus is always, so you choose your faction, right? And Taurus will always be the opposite faction,
Okay.
right? So if you chose unity, she will be individuality. And you put 3 hedge funds there.
For you or
And
for her?
for her. For you, you do the same setup, exactly
Okay.
same setup, but for her, you put three cubes there. And she only acts during board meetings. All she does. She
So you
only acts
play
during
as
board meetings.
usual as a solo, but she play as a. It's like a
Yeah,
like a, I mean business
yeah,
chairman, or she try to do
yeah.
business.
It's someone who's going to come in, going to buy companies. She'll try to buy your companies. She'll interact a bit with you, but and she'll do mini proxy fights if she can. Um, but and you can also play, and you can play with the politics board, of course, by Justin's politics board, as well. It's the same, everything. It works with any political board. But you
Okay.
have to pay. You have to play with a political, with M0. So during a board meeting, which is an event, right? You roll for an event,
Yeah.
and you do the event, and then the die that you roll, the same number, is going to it's going to, either she's going to do something.
You
She will.
follow a flow chart or something like that?
It's not a flow chart. It's just a very small table.
Okay.
It's actually just 2 tables. One is what she does with her companies, and then what she does with your companies.
Okay.
And it's always on this die value. So a 4, for example, a 4 says that she will bump up her top company. Now, she doesn't start with any company, so in the first game, in the first round, no problem. And then, let's say you had a share here, and then so after she's done her, she's looked at her companies, she goes and looks at your companies, right?
Yeah.
And then you check if she has shares left, she has the same amount, she has all 7 shares at her disposal. If she has a share left, she will buy into your company, right? So you'll have to, if you can click there, click on buy a share just to simulate, and then she'll buy into your company, right?
Okay.
And then at the end of this phase, going through all her companies and your companies, if she has any, if there are still companies unfloated, she will float a company. Then you just put a company there. You click on buy share for me, please. Yeah, and that's all she does, right? So
Okay.
on her turn, she checks her companies and she'll move them up, or will move them left, right. Sorry, she'll move them right or she'll move them up, and then she'll interact with your companies, and then she'll either float a new company or bump a company up as a last action. And that's basically it. That's all she does with just with one die roll, which is the die roll from the event.
Just to know, is it working with post monetization too, or just for this stock market right now?
It works with post monetization. So how it goes is, if you're playing with post monetization, if she gets her first share, her first hedge fund, right?
Yeah.
If she gets her first hedge fund, she will flip the market into post monetization.
So
And
you're gonna have the post monetization even if you don't want it.
yes, yes, and she will be the ISO banker, and she will found the ISO bank as a burnout, a monetization burnout, and then you continue. However, in either if you're not playing with post monetization, or if you're playing with post monetization, doesn't, one way or the other, if she gets three of her hedge funds,
Yeah.
right? What happens is then you don't score company victory points.
Okay.
So with module 5, the scoring is, you do the normal scoring for
Factories and everything.
factories, and then there's also company victory points. And company victory points are basically like this: you score the highest company that you're in.
Even if you're
So
not a Sherman.
even if you're not chairman. So in this case, I have 3, right? Because I have 1 share there, and that's a 3. I have 2 shares here, but that's 2, right? 2 points. 2 points for this company, 3 points for that company. So I just get 3 points.
And me.
That's And you'll also get 3 points, right? Because that's it's exactly like that. But let's say you had a company over there and there was a 7, you would get 7 points. Or if you had 2 shares there, you'd get 14 points, right? And these wouldn't count. So you just score the top company that you're in, okay?
Okay. We
But,
gonna check again
hmm?
this. We're gonna see later this the victory
Yeah,
points.
yeah, okay. Like if my situation was this, my top company is this one, 14 points.
So you just score 14 points.
I would score 14
And
points.
me, I just
That's
score 3 points.
3. And you
Okay.
just score 3 points. For your, yeah, or company victory points, yes.
Okay.
This added to all the other points that you get from Bernals and claims and factories, etc. If you're playing solo, then if she gets her 3 hedge funds, you won't score
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
It's you'll still score everything else, but she cornered the market, and yeah, and he's the capitalist of the hill, and that's kind of it. It's not a very big rule set, and it I think it helps for a solo gamer to add this little component and just play along, and also be able to do transactions, and you can do more things on your turn. So it's I think it's cool.
Last last question before we can begin if you want. What is the point to splittering a company? What's the point to do this? To have two
Well,
companies?
I don't know. There can be two. There can be two options for that. One is maybe you're not happy with the person who's in charge of the company, and you think you can do better, right? The thing is, the splintering company will always start at the bottom row, right?
Yeah.
Which means that you can't reinvest in the bottom row because reinvestment is going down and then going right, right? So you can't go down and right into insolvency. You'll see splintering more often in during isotope monetization, in post monetization, because you can also splinter into a different company. So when you
Okay.
do splintering, you can choose whether you want to splinter the same color or you want to splinter a different color company.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. But in post monetization, you can also reinvest and flip the companies. That's called modernization. You can also do that there. So you
Okay.
basically you're creating a different company. This one's the ET Comet, and they'll give different services,
Yeah. Yeah.
which we
Understood.
don't have there. You can also do this here. The rules say that you can also, during the stock market aqua phase, you can also splinter a black company or even float a black company, but the services don't do anything. You can't access the service. They don't do anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thanks for the presentation.
I
I
hope
guess.
I hope it was understood.
Yeah. Yeah.